All right, welcome to the selection process. We've been doing something a little bit different lately. We started out talking to singles, and we're interviewing these singles, finding out why they're still single and what they're looking for. But I had a revelation, and I talked to Donnie Wiggins, and I said, Donnie, you know what? I want to leave the singles to you. You interview all of the singles. Me being a married man, I'm really more interested in the marrieds, people who have that union, who've been through the ups and downs and trying to understand it. So you all will see me interviewing married people for a few reasons. One, these singles need inspiration and motivation, and they need to know what it takes to be in this game we call a union, but also inspiration for myself. As a married person, I want to stay married, okay? So today, we have an incredible entrepreneur, business leader, and has been married for a short period of time recently, but a long period of time before. Ken Joslin, what's up, brother?
What's up, baby?
Man, I'm good, incredible. Dude. How are you?
I'm stoked to see you. It was great to see you this weekend at InvestFest, dude.
Absolutely.
What an amazing weekend, man.
Incredible. Those guys are incredible, man.
Incredible.
And hopefully Rashad's watching this because he's not married yet. So.
we're gonna drop something for you today, Rashad.
Come on, we got
Yes,
him.
we are, bro. Yes,
so introduce yourself to the people, man.
Yeah, so Ken Joslin, I host the largest faith-based entrepreneur conference in the country called Create. I've been doing this for about 6 years. I spent out of the last 25 years, half of that in full-time vocational ministry, which means I got paid to pastor. Planted one of the largest youth ministries, grew one of the largest youth ministries in the country from 96 to about 2001. Into real estate, top producing mortgage broker, back into ministry, planted a church, pastored a church in the Gainesville area. Did that for about 6 or 7 years. Back into real estate, finished 7th out of 3,700 agents in 2019. Wow. Hopped on Instagram in September of 2019 and saw this little bitty dude with all this energy, and I'm like, who is this dude? And it was Grant Cardone. Never heard of Grant, didn't know who he was. I hit follow, and bro, they were all over me. You know how Grant is. They were all over me. Hopped on a webinar the next week, hopped in a mentorship group. I became a licensee, started speaking for Grant. And January of 2020, I'm speaking for Grant for the second or third time down at 10X headquarters to all of these people. And God said, I want you to do what Grant's doing and build it for faith-based entrepreneurs. So I was like, okay. So I started looking for the model. And I'm like, God, nobody's doing this. Yeah. And so we started it in January, really right before COVID. I was going to do a conference in May of 2021 with John Maxwell, David Pollack, and some friends of mine in Atlanta, and COVID hit. So we had to pivot, went online, and then we grew it into now Create. This last year we had 680 people. Wow. I have the most amazing friends on the planet. Michael McDonald was there with us this year. Gary Brecka is one of my closest friends, did the forward on my new book. John Maxwell, Erwin McManus, Jesse Itzler, Brendan Burchard. I mean, you name it, dude. It's Horst Schultze, Eddie Wilson from Aspire. I mean, just an amazing group of human beings that we get to do life with. And so now I pastor high-performing faith-based entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
That's
Love
what
it.
I do. Yeah.
So you are extremely qualified for this conversation because being in a relationship and being in a relationship where one of you or both of you are entrepreneurs are two different relationship dynamics. So you have been married currently for how long?
Since December the 20th. So almost 8 months.
So about 8 months. So you're new but old to the game.
Yes. Oh, no, trust me. 27 years the first time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. You're new but old. You know what I'm saying? So you're new to this situation, which is a person that you have to discover who she is. Am I right? Because in my mind, everyone changes continually. And the woman that I married 8 years ago is a totally different woman from who I'm going to bed with this evening.
That's right.
But for the last 8 months, you're divorced from your first marriage for how long?
Almost 5 years.
Almost 5 years. So 27 years of marriage. Tell me the story of how y'all met.
27 years of marriage. My best friend got married. His cousin's wife was my first wife's sister. And so I had known his cousin forever. And so we met at the reception that night, started talking that night, started dating and got married. And this was in 1991. We got married in 1992. I gave my life to Christ in 1993, or I tell people I would have gotten divorced in 1994. Because, bro, I was like 25 years old, man, when I gave my life to Christ. I didn't know anything about God. Like, I'm the guy when you go to church and he says, turn to the book of Matthew. I had to look it up in the front because I didn't know where it was at.
Sure.
And so God did a great work in my life, and we've got 4 amazing daughters out of 27 years, from 30 to 17, 18 this Friday, and a 2.5-year-old grandbaby, bro, that is nothing like it.
Wow.
Nothing like them grandbabies.
So you meet, and the next year you're married.
We got engaged, and the next year we got married within a year. Yeah.
What was that? Oh, so from the time you meet, and the time married, one year?
Met her in June. Yeah, met her in June of 91. We got married in August of 92, and I gave my life to Christ August of 93.
Got it. So before 93, when you got married, what made you say, I'm going to select this person and this is who I want to be with?
Well, number one, when you're that age, you have no idea who you are, number one. You're just trying to figure it out, dude. It's just a process and a journey, right? She was gorgeous. I was in love, even though I don't think at 22 years old, do you really know what, or 23 years old, 24, do you really know what love is?
Do you know what love is in your early 20s?
I think you think you do.
Of course.
I mean, when you're 30, you think you have it all figured out. And then when you're 40, I turned 58 last week at InvestFest. Book signing, and I'm speaking at InvestFest. I'm 58 years old. I'm doing all this stuff, and I'm about every 6 months, dude, I look back and go, I didn't have a clue. Even at 57, I didn't have a clue. So it's just a process and a journey, man.
Okay, explain this, because someone's watching. They say, I'm in love, and I know it.
Yeah.
Why do you say that? Why is that even a question? Do you know what love is at 20 something?
Yeah. So I used to do a courtship series when I was youth pastor, and I had hundreds of kids, sometimes 400 and 500 kids in my youth ministry every Wednesday night. And I did a 6-week series on courtship. And I would go out of Proverbs and I talk about when a man finds a wife, a man that finds a wife finds a good thing. Well, that whole, in the Hebrew, that whole word picture is I'm on my journey towards God. God causes the path of a woman to intersect my path. And so what we talked about for 6 weeks was, instead of worrying about finding Mr. or Mrs. Right, I need to worry about becoming Mr. or Mrs. Right. Like, I need to work on me.
Yeah.
And so even though I taught that 30 years ago, I didn't really even get that picture until the last 5 or 6 years. Because what I learned being single for 5 years after being married for 27 years was, the more Ken worked on Ken, the different people I attracted. Like, I attracted different people. And I had to work through, you're married for 27 years, bro, and you're out. And if you've gotten a divorce, you've been married for a while, loneliness is a real deal.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard. And, I'm bouncing around speaking, doing all the stuff I'm doing, and all around the country, and like, loneliness is a real deal. And I had to learn to be okay being by myself in that last 5 or 6 year journey.
In the 27, when did you realize this won't work?
Honestly, but I've never talked about this publicly, probably around 12 years.
Really?
Yeah, probably around 12 years. We were in therapy one time, and my father-in-law had to have triple bypass. And I remember when she came out of the hospital room, and she was weeping, like it was almost like her dad had died. I looked at her and I said, "Hey, babe, he's going to be okay. He's having triple bypass. Like 100% of the people are okay." And she's like, "No, he just told me he loved me. I never remember my dad telling me he loved me." And I was like, oh my gosh. And so I was pastoring at the time. I was youth pastoring at the time. And I remember in therapy walking through with our therapist then, and I remember I was like, oh my God, my wife has never told me she loved me. Unless I told her, I never remembered her ever telling me she loved me in 12 years.
Initiating, you know what, Ken? I love you.
Yeah, never. Not once. I could not remember it. So in therapy, as we're walking through that, I realized, and every one of us had this. I don't care who you are. So it's not just a her thing. This was a me thing as well. And I'll explain a little bit of that as we have this conversation. For her, that's the environment she grew up in. And she grew up in an environment where she just had to work to try to earn the approval of her father. And we didn't realize that till about 12 years in. And we were married for 27 years. And I think the thing is, dude, is, walking out of a marriage, or, getting a divorce, I think it's easier for a person of faith. I'm trying to find the right words to say right here. I think you just have to look at, man, God, what was the good things you did in this? I have 4 daughters, bro, who are amazing. They're absolutely amazing human beings. I've got a beautiful granddaughter out of that. So I choose to look at that and go, there were some things, dude, I was walking through, let me fast forward a little bit. We got divorced on the mediation Friday, divorced on Monday. I walk into a new therapist on Tuesday, and we were living in Birmingham at the time. And I tell people she's like a mild version of Medea. Maxine's like an older black lady, curly hair, glasses on the end of her nose. She's great. So you walk in and she's like, hey, honey, child, are you and Jesus doing okay today? How you and Jesus doing this week? I'm like, we good. Me and Jesus are good. But we walk into this therapy session, and she says, tell me your story. Because it's my first therapy session with her. Dude, now I've been in ministry for a long time.
Sure.
Not only have I been in therapy, but I've done counseling and stuff for premarital and walk couples through counseling. And so I walk into this thing, and this was 6 years ago. And I walk into this therapy session with Maxine, and she goes, tell me your story. I said, well, I was born in Detroit, raised in Pontiac. My parents got divorced when I was 8. Mom moved us to the Atlanta area in the 2nd grade. From my 6th grade year to my senior year of high school, I moved back and forth to my dad 6 different times. I went to 12 schools in 12 years and 6 different high schools. And I'll never forget, she went, good Lord, child, why'd you move so many times? And I was like, I didn't have a choice. Anytime I got in trouble, my mom would say, go pack a bag. And I had 24 hours. I was on a bus, a plane, or my dad was on the way to pick me up from Michigan. And I'll never forget, she looked at me. Outside of giving my life to Christ, this was the biggest aha moment I ever had, David. She looked at me and she said, Ken, how do you think that's affected your relationship with the women in your life who are supposed to love and protect you? Dude, I lost it. Now, dude, I've been in ministry for like 14 years. It's not like I don't do this stuff. I lost it. Like 3 weeks before that, I was dating a girl in California, even before my divorce was final, which I shouldn't have been doing. And I'll never forget, she picked me up at the airport in San Francisco. She had a restaurant in Santa Rosa. We're headed north. We didn't even make it out of the city. We didn't even make it across the bridge. We had an argument. I made her pull the car over. I got my suitcase out and I left. Now here's a 52-year-old man. I just turned 58 last week, so 6 years ago. 52-year-old man still living out the trauma of a 12-year-old boy. But now the woman in my life wasn't going to tell me to leave. I was going to leave before she told me. And I had no idea. And so the journey that I had to take for the last 4 years, 5 years of going, dude, I've got 30-year-old, 27-year-old, 23-year-old, 17-year-old girls. In between my 30 and 27-year-old, we were pregnant with twin sons, and we lost them 6.5 months in the pregnancy. And I didn't question God. I wasn't angry at God through that. I was pissed at God when I was like, God, how have I been carrying this around for this long? And I had no idea it was there. It took me a couple months to process through that because, dude, I was mad. But the whole journey, what it did was it kicked off a journey for me of going, oh, wow, man, there's something in me that I didn't even know was there. So it started this journey for me to, you know what, I'm gonna work on Ken. Look, dude, I help everybody else. That's what I do. I pastor high-performing faith-based entrepreneurs. That started the journey for me working on me.
So, it didn't seem like it affected you too much because, you were married for 27 years and you committed and you were together. And for about 12 years, it seems like things are going well.
Yeah.
This one moment, she realizes, maybe she hasn't heard someone tell her they love her and that makes her cry. I guess my question is, how often did you tell her?
Oh, all the time. Dude, I'm 20 times a day. You're beautiful. I love you. You're a great mom. You're a great coworker. But here's what I understand about trauma now that I didn't know then, even in my own life and even dealing with this, is when you have a level of trauma in your life, like for her, she never had a dad that told her she loved her. So it was almost impossible for her to tell the man in her life, I was the man in her life now. It was almost impossible for her to tell. And when I told her that I loved her, she couldn't receive that because her own father couldn't tell her that he loved her. So she never could really receive. I'm an encourager. That's what I am.
So what's the difference between your father? Because it was your father that was sick. It was your father.
No, her dad had that triple bypass.
So it was her dad. Yes.
Her dad. She goes in.
Her dad one time tells
12 years into our marriage, her dad says, I love you before he goes to have this triple bypass.
Yeah.
She loses it. I'm like, I thought she lost it because her dad's having triple bypass. No, she said, my dad just told me he loved me, and I can never remember my dad telling me he loved me.
And that sparks in your mind that I can't remember you telling me.
After a period of about
Initiated.
2 or 3, that's right. And I'm like, holy cow. Like, you haven't in 12 years. I can't remember a time you told me you loved me without me first telling you I loved you.
But what about that disturbs you? Because some people don't say it, but maybe she shows it.
Yeah, 100%. But that's, and I think this, in any relationship, it's not about, it is about what I need, and it is obviously about what your partner needs. But for me, like even now with my wife, today before I left, I said, hey, baby, how can I serve you better? How can I love you better? Is there something I can do to, 'cause now I have 3 bonus kids, 11 and 2 9-year-olds, 11-year-old son, 9-year-old daughter. Well, the 9-year-old daughter, she's not feeling well today. Well, Michelle's right in the middle of a meeting. She's a kick-ass salesperson on the health side. And I'm like, I looked at her this morning and I said, do you need me to go pick Ella up? And she just tears. She goes, baby, would you do that? I'm overwhelmed right now. I said, I got you. And so I just think in the journey, man, it's like even on the first side, like you can blame yourself, you can blame your ex-wife, your ex-husband. The reality of it is we both had a part to play in that.
For sure.
And so in my healing journey, like one of the things in my journey is I read a book called The Masculine in a Relationship from G.S. Youngblood. He's not a Christ follower. It's a purely psychological book on psychology. And there's one of the things in there, I'm reading this book, and I deep dove. When that happened to me at that therapy session, I deep dove into, okay, Ken's going to find Ken. Like I'm talking about somatic therapy, regular therapy, reading books, Happy Days by Gabrielle Bernstein, this book. And I mean, I'm just going through boom, 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 boom. I want to be the best version of me. I'm reading this book and it said, he was talking about men and women. He goes, women are emotional creatures, which that's how God created them. When they get elevated, it's our job as men to hold space for them and not get elevated as well. Because this is how I explain
What do you mean
it.
by hold space?
So just, okay, babe, I hear you. I love you. This is game changer for men. When your wife or your girlfriend gets like that, because what do we like to do? We like to fix things.
Yeah.
They don't want to be fixed, guys. They don't want to be fixed. They just want you to listen. Hey, babe, are you looking for feedback or do you just need me to listen?
Create space for them to take the conversation or their.
That's right. Because they're going to get emotional.
They want to take it.
So what women are looking for, they want to be safe, seen, and heard. That's what women want. And so, because what happens is if they get emotional and you get emotional and they get emotional and you got a train wreck in about 5 minutes. You're talking about divorce. I don't know why I married you. I hate, you know how it is. I mean, it's because we're human, dude.
Yeah.
Like that's why we react that way. So I read this book and then I read this chapter. I'm reading on Audible. I still have my notes in my Audible. And he goes, men, if you feel the need to explain or defend when your wife gets elevated, it's a sign of unresolved trauma in your life. And I was like, holy cow. I'm sitting at my first Create conference in 2022, January of 2022. John Maxwell was on my stage. And God said, send her an email and apologize. And I'm sitting there with my phone in my hand and John's on my stage, all these people in my building. And I picked my phone up and I took a screenshot of my notes and I sent it to the girl's mom. And I said, hey, I'm really, really sorry. I did not know how to hold space for you. I didn't know how, and I'm sorry that I didn't know how. And so the whole process of, being single is one thing, but being married, then being single, and now going, okay, God, some people even question, are you done with me? Like, is there somebody out there for me? And so for me on that journey, it's been, how can Ken become the best version of Ken? Yeah. What in here needs to be healed? What in here needs to be whole? And so that journey, I just talked to somebody last week. They're like, I said, at InvestFest this week, girl comes up, super sharp looking girl. I mean, just sharp, beautiful, very successful. And we're talking and she goes, I introduced her to Michelle, my wife. How long have you been married? 7 months. And she goes, really? And I said, she goes, I just got divorced. And I said, how long have you been divorced? She goes, almost a year. I said, are you dating already? She goes, yeah, I've been dating for a few months. And I said, people told me that, Ken, you're not ready to date. And I'm like, oh no, I'm fine. Yeah. Bro, I wasn't fine. I was lonely, but I wasn't fine. And the more that I worked on myself and the more that I looked at my responsibility, what's Ken responsible for in this 27-year marriage that ended and the pain that it caused each other, the pain it caused my 4 daughters, the pain it caused my son-in-law. What do I need to own? Not only what do I need to own, David, but how can I get better? How can Ken really work on Ken?
You described to me the back 15 years, like once you realize, because I mean, it's not like, oh man, it's over, but in your mind, you're like, whoa, this is a flag. Maybe not a flag for her, but a flag for you, because it sounds like you need to be told that, even if they're displaying it, right? And even in this conversation, I am going to be intentional by going home to initiate a I love you and a kiss and a hug.
Well, I think the biggest thing is, David, ask them.
Yeah.
That's why I do my almost every day. I'm like, baby, how can I serve you better? Baby, how can I love you better? You know, because again, she's divorced. She was married. Her kid's dad I knew him before. He was on staff at one of the local faith-based drug and alcohol rehab centers. He went through it and he relapsed. And so she's been through the same level of trauma as well, in relationship trauma. So I just want to make sure she knows she's safe, she's seen, and she's heard. And how can I help you? That's why today, man, I could tell, man, I just looked at her and I went, baby, do you need me to go pick Ella up? And she just tears. And
are you saying you did not do that in the previous relationship?
I may have done some of that. I may have done some of that then, but not with the level of intention, because I didn't have the understanding that I have now.
Yeah. So describe the back half of these 15 years, because there are some people in situations where, I mean, it's a fine line between like, man, I don't think this is going to work out, and I got to fight through it though.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing I'll say, especially all my years in ministry, all my years doing what I do now, I've never seen a couple where both partners said, hey, I'm willing to work on whatever I need to work on. Not pointing out stuff in my partner's life, but what do I need to work on? I've never seen a couple like that not thrive in their marriage. But I've also never seen a couple, and I pastored for a long time. I still work with couples. We just brought the Eggriches in, who wrote the Love and Respect book. It's the #1 book on marriage in the church. Love and Respect, over 3 million copies. I just brought them in last week to speak to my corner couples. And I'm listening to Emerson and them. And I mean, they're in their middle 70s. And I'll never, this weekend, one of the guys asked Emerson, because we had a small crowd, it was like 18 couples in there. And one of the guys asked Emerson, well, what does your wife do when you guys don't get along? He goes, I can't even tell you how many times she chased me around the house with my book going, if the people that read your book saw the way you talk to me right now, they would be like, what? Yeah. I think David, it boils down to, how can I work on me? But again, I said, I've never seen a couple where one of them said, I'm not touching that area.
Yeah.
I'm not willing to put this area on the table. I'm not willing for this area to be spoken into, whether it be by my spouse, whether it be by a therapist, whether it be by a friend. I've never seen that marriage either make it, and it's definitely not going to thrive. And it's hard, man. It's hard. So, marriage is hard, bro. It's not easy.
For sure.
It's hard.
100%.
But being lonely is hard too. So choose your hard. Which hard do you want? For sure. Which hard do you want?
Absolutely. Was there at any point where you regretted your decision to like file and say, I'm done?
I wasn't the one that filed. She did. I should have. I didn't. I didn't want to hurt people. I just had this conversation with a friend yesterday.
You didn't want to hurt people.
I didn't want to hurt my daughters.
Yeah.
I didn't want to hurt her, but I knew it wasn't something that I could continue in.
Yeah.
And I should have said, hey, here's what I'm going to do. I should have made the decision, and I didn't make the decision. And so do I regret it? Of course I do, man. Of course I do. Would I trade where I'm at today and what God's done in my life and my heart in the process? Not for anything.
Yeah.
Because your kids see. And one of the things I made a commitment to do is never speak negative about their mother in front of them.
Yeah.
And I haven't done that at all. Never speak negative about their mom in front of them. And then, dude, as your kids grow up, if you are divorced, they see. And the one thing they see is, it's not like, oh, there's one here, oh, this one's perfect, and this one on the other side is not. They realize, and especially my 30-year-olds who've been married for about 4 or 5 years now, they have a 2.5-year-old. In marriage, they have a new perspective of what's going on, and they'll see for what it is.
Yeah.
And you just, man, listen, be quick to own what you need to own. My kids set me down 3.5 years ago, on Sunday afternoon. I go to my daughter's house, and they set me down, and my son-in-law's a therapist. And he goes, hey, Ken, we want to sit down. He's so soft-spoken. My daughter, my 30-year-old's my mini-me. And he goes, hey, we wanted to meet with you. This isn't really an intervention. And I'm thinking, oh, yeah, that's exactly what it was. It's exactly what this is, right? And they said, and two of my daughters, my youngest she was out of the room, but my two oldest were in the room. And they said, Dad, when you tell us you're going to do something, you don't follow through. And I was like, I had to sit there. This was right after my conference where I learned to hold space.
Yeah.
I didn't make an excuse. I sat there, and dude, it sucked. Like this is my life right here in front of me, telling me I don't show up. Dad, you show up for everybody else, but you don't show up for us.
Wow.
Oof. Okay. Tell me exactly what that. Give me some examples. Like we're sitting in her living room. She goes, Dad, you said, because I've flipped a bunch of houses and like 25 houses in the past in my real estate business. And she goes, Dad, you said you'd help us. My daughter bought a house, like a reclaimed area in Birmingham near the airport. They just bought all these old houses and redid them. She wanted her fireplace redone. I said, I'll help you do that. And we'll do a shiplap fireplace, put your big TV up there, whole 9 yards. She goes, you told me you're going to do that a year and a half ago. I was like, I said, you're right, baby. I'm sorry. Dad's sorry. I'm sorry that I didn't do that.
And that has, I guess, I would imagine that's
100% changed since then. But I had to. Again,
I'm saying I would imagine that is maybe something that they've noticed for their whole life.
Yeah, I think it was really after the divorce, and I was out really trying to do, when I wasn't present in the home. But I was like, okay. I said, I get it. So each of them had some things they talked about, and I said, okay. I said, that'll fix that. I'm really sorry that I hurt your heart.
Wow.
But it gave me an opportunity to change.
Yeah.
And it gave me opportunity to see things in me that I didn't know were there.
Here's a question. How do children, in your years of talking to these couples, how do children change the dynamic of a marriage?
I mean, marriage is hard. Raising kids is hard. I mean, it's not easy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's difficult. Life in general can be difficult. How do they change the dynamic in a marriage? I think one of the negative ways they change the dynamic in the marriage is you've got all these families out here and they're running around. They're so busy taking care of what their kids are doing, sports, gym, all this extracurricular activities they're involved in. And then what happens is you've got all these, the divorce rates for people that our kids are older and have already graduated high school is skyrocketing because they spend so much time focused in taking care of the kids, they don't take care of themselves.
Yeah.
And so when I work with couples now, I'm like, listen, there's three non-negotiables. Date night once a week, overnight once a quarter, and you need a 2 to 3 day getaway once a year just with the two of you guys.
Ooh.
Like you have to date your wife. You literally have to. And now that's one thing I did well, even in the 27 years. Like I pursued her. I never stopped pursuing her. She couldn't because of what she went through. She didn't, number one, she didn't know, can I receive that? Because I never got that from my dad. And if you don't, I don't care who you are. If you don't walk through and really work on that internal part of childhood trauma and all those things, it just doesn't heal on its own. You have to be intentional in working on that. But date night once a week, overnight once a quarter, and you need a vacation, just the two of you guys, at least once a year.
Overnight once a quarter, what does that mean?
Just get away. I mean, you guys live in Atlanta. Go to Chattanooga. Get a hotel room.
Yeah.
Just go have dinner. Just the two of you. Just get away. Turn your phone off. Like I'll even ask my wife because, dude, we're in this busiest season right now. It's crazy right now. Book launch, Invest Fest, Corner Couples Weekend. It's nuts. And I literally the other day, I love Claude. She calls Claude. She says I'm cheating on her with Claude sometimes. And so we're sitting there last week watching a movie, and I looked at her and I went, Boo, do you want me to put my phone down? She goes, yes, I do. And I
said,
yes, ma'am.
On the phone during the movie?
We're watching the movie. My brain,
that's
bro.
I
know, right? I mean, again, I don't get it right all the time.
Yeah.
But like, hey, babe, do you want me to get off my phone? Yes, I do. Okay, done.
Wow.
Noted. Yeah.
So, but in all the relationships that you've seen, I know personally that children drastically change because it used to be me and you, and we go hang out, and a child will change a woman's body, and when that woman looks in a mirror,
that's right.
That body affects how they feel and how they think.
That's right.
And in my experience, I felt like it got taken out on me, and then I would not hold any space. And I'm like, yo, why are you coming at me?
That's right.
Right? Realizing that she's watching herself change. And maybe in her mind she's not as attractive as she could. So this was a real thing for me.
Of course it
You know
is.
what I mean?
Oh,
So
yeah.
how do we start to anticipate that for one that may be going through this or they're about to?
Have conversations. Hey, babe, I think you're beautiful. Number one, I think just to encourage your wife and let her know how sexy you think she is, how beautiful she thinks she is. Like, man, we're super affectionate all the time. And I think in that journey, it's encouraging her. And then when she gets in a way, like you said, I felt like she takes that out on me, just hold space. Hey, babe, can we, what I hear, and here's another thing too. Number one, we don't try to fix it because they don't want to be fixed.
Yeah.
I'll never forget one time when the girl's mom looked at me and she said, I said something to her about, I said, man, everybody I'm around, I was pastoring at the time. I said, everybody around, I help. And she looked at me one time, she goes, I'm not a member of your church and I ain't on your staff. I'm your wife. I was like, because I was trying to fix it. She didn't want to be fixed. And that was on me.
Yeah.
But I think in that instance, David, you really have to ask the questions. Like you really have to take the Eggerichs is the Love and Respect book. If you haven't read Love and Respect, single or married, go get the book because men want respect and women want love. And when men feel respect, they'll make the woman feel love. When women feel love, they'll make the man feel respected. And so Emerson, they just talked about last weekend at our event at our studio in Alpharetta, and Emerson said they've gotten to the point now where when she gets elevated, he'll look at her and go, hey, baby, is there something I did to make you not feel loved?
But that can seem, what's the word, condescending.
No. You're wanting to know because she's elevated and upset in a very genuine way. Hey, baby, there's something I did. And she'll do the same thing. If he's frustrated or he's irritated, she'll go, hey, Emerson, is there something I've done to make you not feel respected? Because normally those are the things that trigger, especially in a marriage and relationship. Now, you're talking about a woman, she's having babies, she gains 45 pounds, and she's only lost 15. She looks at her body and goes, oh my God, I don't look like my husband doesn't, all those things. That's just encouragement. And again, you holding space because all those feelings are normal. I had Julie Manano, who wrote the Secure Love book on my podcast probably 2 years ago. And I remember she talked about validation. That's one of the big things, the threads throughout her book was validating. And even though the feelings may not, if you looked at them, they're not factual, you always validate the feeling. Hey, babe, I'm so sorry you feel that way. Listen, hold space for her. Is there something I can do? Babe, I think you're beautiful. Is there something I can do to help you with how you feel right now? And then give them time for their nervous system to get regulated and not try to have the conversation when they're looking in the mirror going, oh my God, I'm not 25 years old with this rock hard body like I used to. It's just because number one, validate that your feelings are valid and how you're feeling is normal. I tell you, the one thing I get from people right now, dude, is I've got a couple that's really close to me. They're some of my one-on-one couples, super successful in their late 60s. Well, they lost a son in a car wreck like 10 years ago. His birthday was this past week. They lost a son in a car accident, and they were like bickering and arguing, and they said some things going on, and they're like, well, this happened, and this happened. And I'm like, well, guys, look what you've walked through for the last 10 years. Look at some of the pain you've had in your life. Yeah. Why would you expect to be any different? And the same thing for the wives. They have babies, their bodies change, they feel different, they don't think they're beautiful anymore. Our role as a husband is hold space for them and go, man, baby, I love you. And even ask, hey, do I tell you enough? Or how can I help you? How can I help you work through that? Yeah.
What are your rules in intimacy with marriage?
This is funny. This when we had Emerson and them here a couple weeks ago, he always talked about sexual intimacy on Tuesday. It was always Tuesday. So we get home, went all weekend. We get home on Sunday afternoon, and we're both wiped because we got 18 couples. We're hosting them for 3 days, all the stuff. Emerson and Sarah's there. And we get home and we go lay down, and I go, hey, baby, give me a kiss. She goes, it ain't Tuesday. But he talks about, in the book, like who's deciding on Tuesday. Now, you can go to Scripture in 1 Corinthians chapter 7 about my body doesn't belong to me. My wife's body doesn't belong to her. It belongs to each other. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just when you approach intimacy from a servant leadership side, especially as a man, of Because, bro, we were like, what time is it? Yep, okay, I'm ready. Like, we ready all the time.
Yeah.
And, especially on the kids' side and those things, like this past week, kids just started school. I could tell Michelle's like, we woke up Sunday morning in Best Fest. She goes, baby, I'm tired of people. Because we've been going 2 weekends in a row. She's working her job. I said, I tell you what, let's do the book signings. We did the book signing in Best Fest Sunday morning. I said, let's do the book signing. And Ashley's one of the girls on my team's there as well. I said, I'll send you and Ashley. You guys can go back to the house. I think on the intimacy side, it's just conversation. I think you just have to say, hey, baby, and sometimes it's, you just got that need. And then sometimes it's like you feel distant and disconnected. We men, we want, it's the sexual intimacy for us. For the women, it tends to be more of a connection. They want to be connected to us. It's communication. I think all of it's communication and communicating the right way with them.
It has to
on
be a
what that
rule,
looks like.
though. I mean, for those
Right, when you say rule, what do you mean by rule?
You have a rule where you should date once a week.
Yeah.
Overnight, once a quarter, and 2 to 3 days, right?
Yep.
This is a formula for success. Well, with intimacy,
Like you saying, how many times a week you have sex?
what are the standards around?
Much
What
as
do you
you
think could
can,
be
bro.
healthy?
As much as you can.
Well, what if the woman isn't feeling it like that?
Then you have to navigate through why. I think it's a why. Because me, 10 years ago or 6 years ago, before I walked through, I would take that as something's wrong with me.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't want to have sex with me. She doesn't want to be intimate with me. Something's wrong with me. What did I do wrong? What did I not deliver on? What am I not doing that causes you not to want to be with me physically and intimately? I think you just have to have the conversations. Sometimes it's hormonal. I mean, you're walking through and women are, they get that 40-year-old range. They've got 2 or 3 kids. They start that perimenopause and premenopause, and then that changes a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And so I think you just have to have the conversations.
I saw it was a Tyler Perry movie or something, and I thought it was so incredible. I think I watched it maybe before I was married or something, but every single night, the woman had some sort of reason or big excuse why they couldn't be intimate.
Mm-hmm.
And thank God I don't have these issues, but I can, and I've had friends where their wife just ain't with. I mean, there's always a reason. There's always an excuse, and the man's not getting what they need. And I was thinking to myself, bro, that may have been the worst thing that could ever happen to a married man.
Mm-hmm. So I think another thing is one of the things at my conference. Now, we didn't do it this year, but the first 4 or 5 years, I had one of my therapists on my stage. I had one of my therapists or 2 of my therapists. 1 year, 2 of my therapists on stage. It was fresh because, like I said, 2022 is when God spoke to me when John Maxwell was on my stage. 2023, I had my therapist. 2024, I had one of my therapists. 2025, I had one of my therapists on stage. When we hit the relationship component, because I want them to know 2 reasons. Number one, I ain't perfect. Yeah. I'm not perfect. The second thing is therapy is massively important. I want therapy. I want people to be able to, if we had this misconstrued, if you go to therapy, something's wrong with you. No, therapy is like changing the oil in your car. It's about every 3,000 to 5,000 miles, or you don't change your oil when your engine locks up. Go have a conversation with somebody that you can both like, know, and trust, that has a 10,000-foot view that can help you guys navigate through the stuff. But I think therapy is massive for couples, and I think a lot of us don't do it. Busy, the stigma of therapy. I'm therapy is a must. Yeah. It's a must, especially if you're in a situation like that.
As an entrepreneur, you can deal with this, you're dealing with this now and your previous. As a man of influence and means and probably around the opposite sex, have you ever run into issues?
Yeah, my wife trumps everything, and it happened this weekend with somebody that's a friend of mine. She's like, I don't like you being around her.
What happened?
I'm like, nothing happened. She just came to me, and I let her know, hey, if you ever feel uncomfortable and I'm around another woman, you come talk to me. And she goes hey, I'm not comfortable with that. I'm like, okay, you tell me what you're not comfortable with, and if there needs to be some and this is another big friend. She got a big name too, and she just wasn't comfortable, and I said, okay. So which means I ain't texting. If we're not talking business, there's not you have to be very careful as a man especially with single women. Like you have to be very careful. There is a sacredness to what God's given you in that marriage. And I want Michelle, and we've had to navigate through this, bro, in 7 months because she sees me up on stage.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, her grandfather's a pastor, her dad's a pastor, her brother-in-law's a pastor. She's been on stages her whole life. Like she's been in that environment her whole life. But I want her to know, hey, if you're ever uncomfortable, you come talk to me.
At what extent, though? You are doing business with this young lady.
Right.
Of course, ain't no like, yo, just kikiing and chopping up on text.
Right.
But probably every text is business.
Yeah.
But what if she doesn't if she's uncomfortable with that scenario, period, do you say, okay, we'll just cut the business?
I'm gonna have that conversation with her. And if push comes to shove, my wife's gonna win over the business.
That could be a flag, though, because there's some women that
Could be.
I mean, everyone moving forward,
Could be.
the expectation is you can't do business with her. And it has nothing to do with what you've done. It's the insecurity
That's right.
of that
It could
person.
be. So we'll go right back to what we just talked about 2 minutes ago. We need to have a therapist, and we need to really talk through why this is uncomfortable and have the conversation, because it's not about who's right. It's really about what's right. But I've learned, like, and there's another thing too, like the women when you're married, God puts you with the woman and they have women's intuition. It's the real deal, bro. It's because I don't see anything. Like, I'm like, she tells me sometimes, she was like, baby, you got rose-colored glasses. You think everybody's awesome. And I do. I mean, that's the pastor side.
People are awesome.
Right. That's who I am. But she's like, that's my man. Like I'm not talking about just from a female perspective.
Yeah.
I'm talking about even men in your life. Because man, when you start doing what we do, people want to be around you because they want to be around you and then around all the people that you're around.
Yeah.
And I've had to learn to listen. And I've also had to learn to say, hey, baby, I love you, but you're going to have to trust me on this one.
Yeah, and sometimes it's only the attractive ones. Like you don't got no problem with that one right there, and we spend all the time together.
Right.
But this one you have a problem with, which personally for me, it feels like an attack.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I try so hard to make sure that there's no sign of anything, right? There's no hiding my phone. There's no.
My wife has passwords to everything I have. There's
sure.
nothing I have that she don't have access to.
The problem is when you go that hard and you still get accused, it's like, maybe I should at least go cheat so that you got something to blame me for.
Here's what I would say to you, David. What's more important, your marriage or that potential business partner or that potential friend?
I don't think it's the actual business that you do with the person. I think the challenge is the relationship that we have and the level of trust. And I don't want to be with someone who doesn't trust me. I don't care who it is.
I get that. So where's that distrust coming from? Where's the root? Fruit to the root. What's the root?
And that's what needs to have a conversation.
That's right. And you just have to have the conversation. And you both, again, I've never seen two people who weren't willing to work on any area. There's nothing in me that's untouchable. Whatever I need to fix, change. I did this in my first marriage. You tell me what I need to change, and I'll change or fix whatever. I told this in front of a therapist. You tell me what I need to do, and I'll do whatever it takes. Like, that was my heart in that.
It's the whatever it takes, though.
Whatever it takes, I do it.
I don't know. So I'm blessed because this is something me and my wife dealt with in first 5 years. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be done because, again, it wasn't about the person. It was, oh, you don't respect me or you don't trust me.
Well, that's the love and respect thing. You didn't feel respected.
Correct. So whatever it takes is a challenge for me because if you go that extreme and this person is someone who you're letting their trauma control every move you make, the relationship turns into something that you might not even recognize in 3 years.
That's right. But still, it has to start with whatever it takes until it gets to the point to where you go,
oh, this whatever is too much.
Right. But man, Jesus didn't say, hey, listen, you can come follow me when you want to follow me. He said, come follow me. And if you're a Christ follower, my first allegiance is to Christ.
Yes.
It's not even to my wife. It's to Christ. And then it's to my partner.
Yeah.
That's why scripture says the two become one flesh.
Yeah.
Like the two become one flesh. when I do that, my commitment is to Christ. And can I do the things? Think everybody loves the scripture, wives, submit to your husbands. Well, back up 2 verses.
Yeah.
Husbands, love your wife as Christ loved the church. He was willing to lay his life down for her.
Mm-hmm.
So guys, are you laying your life down for her?
For sure. Absolutely.
That's a hard, very hard, deep, heart-centered question to ask, guys.
So imagine this. You were married for 27 years, and let's say you did your very best and you did whatever it takes to follow this person that wasn't right for you.
Mm-hmm.
You would have had a miserable life. And you may have still been married to that person following a bad leader. So I think following Christ is a different example because Christ isn't jealous. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't have that.
You are 100% correct. We live in a world where we want to control the outcome. We want the destination. Like we're so focused on the destination.
Yeah.
And Jesus is like, I just want you to focus on who you're becoming on the destination.
Yeah.
It's not about the end. It's about who am I becoming?
Yeah.
If I'm a Christ follower, if you're not a Christ follower, that's fine. And you can try to figure it out without that. But I'd rather have a roadmap to help me on this journey. And dude, you may get to a point where, hey, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. Well, I'm not.
Yeah.
Okay, now you have a decision to make.
Yeah. I think for me to that point, I would never divorce my wife because Christ said not to. Now the Bible says not to, right? This is the commission for sure. Yeah, so I can't come up with any reason that I would leave. Now, if she left me, you just left me. But because my allegiance is to God first, and I make her, I told her one time, I wouldn't cheat on you for 2 reasons. But the first reason is because of what the agreement I have with God. It's not 100% you. Mm-hmm. It's like, this is what guides my life, right? And I think she respects that. Mm-hmm. But for those couples who don't have anything to answer to, man, it seems...
It's hard, man.
It's hard.
Yeah. And I think your commitment has to be, again, if you look at that, your commitment has to be to that covenant of marriage.
Yes.
And where am I at in that?
First.
And am I going to be committed to that? And I'm going to give it, because some people ask, like 27 years, how much longer did you stay than you wanted to? Like I there was probably a year or 2 years where I said, I'm going to wait until all my daughters are out of school and then I'm going to do it. Like, because you hear that a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to get divorced. I still got, listen, if your kids will be better off, studies show it. Your kids are better off if the parents get divorced and they can co-parent amicably and they see their parents happy and they see their parents thriving in what they're doing versus being in an environment to where they're just like this all the time. What kind of an example are you setting a kid when they live in a home where it's toxic, where they don't really see genuine, authentic love and a servant attitude towards the other spouse?
You're saying kids are better off in a divided household where they're both individually happy versus into a collective household where there's...
That's right.
Yikes.
And you can look at the stats. I mean, it's. I was listening to Gabby Bernstein talks about that some. I mean, Gabby Bernstein, Julie Manano, all those guys talk about Jillian Charicki. They all talk about those things. And like, if you are on the you have a desire to become the best version of yourself, and you're on that journey of, you know what, God, I just want to be the best version of me, whatever that looks like, whatever willing. Dude, I lost 100 pounds in 5 years. Like, what does that look like? I sent Gary Breck a video today. I'm working out. I'm like, dude, I got veins in my arms. I've never had veins. I literally sent Gary Breck a video this morning. I'm like, bro, I've never had a bicep before. Like, I just want to become the best version of Ken. At 58 years old, I feel better than I did when I was 28 years old. Like, when you're on that journey, I know that as long as it's revealed to me, there's not an area in my life that's untouchable. My God, whatever you want to change, whatever you want to do, you do whatever you need to do, which again, there's so many things we take in the marriage. Last weekend with Emerson and them, they're teaching for 2 days. Well, I had 2 sessions planned on Saturday afternoon. I looked at my wife at 11:30 before we broke for lunch. I said, I don't have anything to add to this. I mean, I literally did. And I got up and I said, okay, guys. I said, we're going to break for lunch. I said, Emerson and them are going to eat. They've got a plane to catch. I said, I had planned on doing 2 sessions this afternoon. I don't really have anything to add to this. I've got 3 points I want to make that I've learned with Michelle and I. And some of the craziest videos that we get the most like views and watches out of are just us sitting on the couch and her laughing, dying laughing hysterically.
Love it.
We just set aside time to laugh.
Cool.
We set aside time to just be together. And that's massively important.
So I have 1,000 more questions, and I was going to run through some of the questions, but I'm only going to ask you to answer one. Some of the questions I have is what that last year before divorce was. Another question I have is, did you feel a sense of freedom, and did you almost lose yourself during that 5 years of being single? I also want to ask, like,
yes.
There's so many questions I have, but here's the one I want to know. Give me 4 areas that you need to improve right now, this moment, in this moment in your marriage, like where you're falling short.
Patience. I still need to be more patient. Yeah. We talk about it a lot. Patience, so we just took a blended family trip at the end of June, all the way up through July the 3rd. We went to Orlando. My 2 daughters, my 27-year-old, 17-year-old drove over from Birmingham, and we were stuck in the airport for 8 hours trying to get to Orlando. We didn't get there till 4 a.m. And my 27-year-old came to me and said, Dad, you didn't lose your temper at all today.
Wow.
And I'm like, she's like, I'm really proud of you. Because before I could get elevated really, really quick. And I've learned, but still, I think patience is number one. The communication can always go to the next level. Yeah. How can we communicate better? And again, I'm learning. I mean, she's been married for 17 years before, trying to navigate through this. I'm on the way over here to you today. And I could tell she was overwhelmed. Ella wasn't feeling well. And I just said, on the way here today, I literally called her and I said, baby, you okay? And she was crying. And she goes, baby, I'm good. I'm just tired. I've got so much going on. And I said, baby, I got you. And I know based on what you've walked through for 17 years, that's hard to believe. Yeah. But just trust me, because I got you. Yeah. And I just think that, and the communication thing, I don't know that there's 4, but I would say those are 2. Good. It's a constant process of me working on that. And really, do I put my wife's feelings ahead of my own? Mm-hmm. Do I put my wife ahead of what I want? There's some nights I'm like, okay, baby, let's go get naked. And she's like, it's been a long weekend or something like that. And she's like, we have sex a lot. But there's some nights, you know how it is. You're a dude, man. It's like, okay. And she's like, oh my God, I'm just so tired. And I'm like, okay, baby. Yeah. And those nights where you just get, and you're just like, let me just hold you, baby. You know how that pays off the next day or the next day after that? But it's me choosing to put her needs before what I want in that moment.
But you still have to be conscious of it because it doesn't happen all the time.
Oh, yeah. No. It
hardly ever happens. But so when it happens, you're like, what?
That's number 3.
You're like, what?
Give you one more. That was number 3.
You're like,
number 4. You got number 4.
No, it's
something else. Something else. If your wife was here, she'd be like, "Yep, here goes my list."
Talking about our joint finances, I think would be the thing, because she does really, really well. She does really well in her thing. I do my thing, and we still haven't stopped. We said it probably 10 times in the last 2 months. Okay, Saturday we're going to sit down. We're going to get on Sylvia's CFO Sylvia. We'll get up to everything's in Claude or in CFO Sylvia or QuickBooks. We're going to sit down and really do this. We have to step.
So it's almost like you don't know what she has and she doesn't know what you have.
She knows what we talk about it, but it's not even just what we have. We understand too. It's like, listen, we get married. Like if you try to keep your finances separate, that's tough. Our finances are together. Like even for the trip in Orlando, I paid X and she paid X, and what have you got? What have I got? Okay, boom. Because dude, we're opening an office, publishing a book. We got this thing. I have so much money going out the door, and that's insane. Facebook ads and all the staff and all the stuff, right? For sure. But it's us. I would say it's us really locking in a time to go, okay, let's sit down and doing a budget so that we can steward what God's given us the way that we need to steward. instead of just, oh, we gotta have this, oh, we gotta have this. And we're just like reacting instead of really planning and looking at what God has for us.
I love it. I love it. Ken, thank you so much. And I'm sure the people watching this is thanking you as well. And I'm going to ask you all to do me a favor. If this added any value to your life or someone you think it could help, please send it to someone, share it with someone, make a comment, because I read the comments and other people read the comments too. Your input is valuable, and that's what makes this show what it is. And lastly, please go send Kent a DM. If you learned anything, your questions, comments, send him a DM. Don't worry about the reply. He may reply, may not, but send a DM of appreciation if you really, really got some value from this conversation. So, Ken, if you will, man, just close out with a word of wisdom and let everybody know how you get contact with you.
I would say, guys, number one, at Ken Joslin, KenJoslin on Instagram. I would say, if you're single, worry and focus on becoming Mr. and Mrs. Right, not finding Mr. and Mrs. Right. If you're married, you're in a relationship, no matter if it's on a scale of 1 to 10, if it's a 2, a 5, or a 9, am I approaching this relationship with a servant leadership attitude? I think it's massive.
How can they get in touch with you or work with you?
At Ken Joslin on Instagram, DM me. You can hit me up. Our website is growstackdrive.com, growstackdrive.com. Just connect. I'm the only one who has my DM, so if you DM me, it'll come straight to me.
I love it. Thank y'all for tuning in. Welcome to the selection process. We out.